Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Killer Collab Podcast. As always, my name is Tone Deaf from Florida, Tony D. I'm always joined with Chris Lato from Reaper Films.
How you doing?
Chris, it's so hot and early, and I need more coffee. I need something to do, like get me through the day. I don't know about you.
No, I'm good. It's just hot.
Yeah. Well, it is warm. It's what, 95 degrees today?
Yeah.
Ridiculous. And today we have a very special guest, Jill Gevargizian.
Is that French?
Gevargizian.
It's Assyrian, actually.
Oh, wow.
Assyrian?
Yes.
Interesting. Thank you for joining us this morning on Killer Collab Podcast.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. We appreciate you.
So I met Jill. I used to run a film festival, actually two of them, the Innovative Film Festival and the Florida Horror Film Festival. And Jill had submitted the Stylist. It was a short film into our festival, and loved it. Like, it was so good. And then, I talked to her a little bit. Started talking to John Pata, and it was cool back. I don't do the film festival anymore, but just simply because we don't have a venue that will take us. We like doing it in a movie theater and stuff. And so what I liked about it was it introduced me to the indie scene in the whole country, actually the whole world. I mean, we used to get movies from all over the place. And, Jill's movie stuck out. It was a neat movie. And she's a hairstylist, and it was about a hairstylist. And the character was great. The shots were great. Like, everything was awesome in the movie. And then she decided, a few years later, to make a feature of the Stylist. And it's hot right now. Like, I've seen it appear on many top 10 lists for the best horror movies of the year.
Oh, fantastic.
And she's popped up everywhere. I think Arrow picked it up, right? So I'll turn it over to you, and you can talk about it.
It's been very exciting. Yeah, we got picked up by Arrow Video. It's in the U.S., Canada, and UK, and came out on their streaming service in March, and then came out wider, like on VOD and Blu-ray early this summer. So you can check it out all over the place. And but yeah, it started as a short film that we released in 2016, which now feels like a bazillion years ago.
Oh yeah.
But it's been a dream come true, and like I'm still working with Arrow on other stuff, so it's like I feel like the beginning of a thing, and they're like a dream to work with as a filmmaker, because they love films. They put out old films that never really got their due. Dropping my mic on so it's almost like we got this like badass collector's edition right out the gate with our first release. So it's just like too exciting right now.
That was like, and when you released the Stylist, wasn't it the #1 Arrow movie of all time? Am I right in saying that?
Yeah, on their streaming service, which is kind of newer, started last fall actually, and after only being up there for a couple weeks, they told us we were the most streamed film on the whole service. And then,
wow,
to brag about some of those top 10 lists, we are on Entertainment Weekly's best horror films of the year so far.
That is awesome.
I look at.
We got to stay on the list.
Yeah, absolutely.
Until the end of the year.
Absolutely. Now, do you shoot your own stuff, or just directing, writing? Are you
No, I don't.
DP?
I don't shoot. I direct. I co-wrote this, and then I produced it. I do have a huge love for photography. I did it a lot growing up, and so I'm very involved in planning it out, but I don't actually do it. I feel like I would like to honestly learn more about it, but the technical side of these new cameras, I don't know what the hell. Half the time I do ask my DP, I'm like, can I operate it on this one every once in a while just for fun? But I do really like that process and spend a lot of time with my DPs on.
Yeah, it is a whole new
putting
world
it together
with the new cameras and the new camera system. It's just getting the simple to record on a lot of these cameras is hard, and just getting in the right format and 12:1, 5:1, 8:1. You got RAW, you got log, you have DCI. There's so many different formats that you have to put it into, especially to make it easy on the editor side. because on the editing side, it's
Yeah.
it's just not. Are you during the whole editing process? Are you in the room when they edit those movies? What your movies, or you just get like segments?
No, I normally get segments. With some of my shorts, I've been in there with them, or I've put together the first like very rough cut to just kind of show what I'm thinking, aside from storyboarding, because mine look like total gibberish probably to most other people that aren't me.
Well, we all have our
But
own systems. We all have our own systems how we translate
Yeah.
our ideals.
But we do have I do make sure it's we're all very connected very early, especially like with the Stylist feature. Talking to our editor while in pre-production about our plans so that everything's streamlined. And he was already actually cutting together scenes while we were shooting to make sure, especially special effects scenes, to make sure there's nothing we needed to get with those scenes specifically. So we're seeing stuff while we were shooting, which was kind of exciting.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, we were in quarantine through post. We somehow shot like right before this horrible stuff all happened. We wrapped like February 2020.
Oh wow. Yeah.
And then
right before.
It was almost like it gave us this full time to focus on the movie. Not that this is a good thing at all, but the quarantine was very productive for us with post production. It was very weird,
well, when you're editing,
but ended up working out.
You're in a dark room and by yourself, usually editing. Like editing process is so tedious, and it's a lonely job, really. Editing.
It is.
Who was your DP?
Post is depressing too. I always say like after production is this intense, everyone together. It's like summer camp vibes.
Oh yeah.
And you're all in love with each other, and then it's over, and you're really sad, and it's just like a couple of us, working and staring at our computers for 5 months after that, or almost a year.
Who was your DP on the movie? Because the movie looks amazing. Like it looks so good.
Thank you. It's Robert Stern. He shot the short film as well.
Oh.
He's based out of Chicago, works all over the place, but we first met on actually John Pada's film. We brought him up earlier. Kitty, a short film he made in 2014. And so I met like all of John's crew, which included Robert and then Sarah Sharp, the production designer who did Stylist. And I almost stole, I guess, like all of John's film family at the time and brought them onto the Stylist. And then we did compounded the Kansas City crew with them, and then made the feature with this gigantic crew. I don't know how we did it because we did not have a gigantic budget.
Right.
Well, a lot of times you get together with passionate people about
and passion.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's how we get most of our projects done. It's if you're not all in it passionately, it's just not even a good process. When you see people that are not passionate about the project, you can tell, and you can tell in the final outcome. And when you have people that are in depth with the material, it's it's like magical. Everyone's on the same page, same wavelength, same thought process. They know exactly where they need to go, and that's why this industry is so fantastic. Because when you get that group of people, it's a great crew.
I believe that so much that honestly, just drive and passion can make things happen that seem absolutely impossible.
Yep.
And I think that's just what's standing between people doing things and not doing things. It's just being determined and be I'm going to do this, no matter how outrageous it sounds.
Oh yeah, yeah. We in our industry.
We made 2 features during COVID.
Yeah, we did.
From July.
That's amazing.
From July last year to December, we made 2 feature films.
Yeah.
We made one in 90 days. From idea to Blu-ray in our hand was 90 days.
Yeah.
So we had $3,000, and then and then we did another one in December.
What movie was that?
Zed.
We did that in December.
Yeah. Oh, we shot that in December.
It all blends together. This whole last year felt like it was 3 years. It was ridiculous.
But it was nice doing it during COVID because everybody was available.
Yeah, everyone just wanted to get out of the house. Yeah, let's do something. Want to do something? Let's do something.
You didn't have any scheduling issues because everybody was free. So it was nice.
Oh yeah, that's a good thing. Now, your whole writing process, where do you get your motivation? Where do you get your storytelling? How do you tell your stories?
That's a great question because I'm struggling with that lately, or just not so the story, but but like the making the time to make it happen. I'm like, when I actually have to like carve out real time. I keep thinking this is just going to happen at some point, and I have so many other things to do, and running the Stylist press promotion, and then we're still playing festivals, and then it's like you really have to carve out real time is what I'm realizing to myself. I'm like, you can't just keep saying you're going to do it with the random hours you have free every day.
You have to schedule it. You absolutely have to.
I don't know. It's so freaking hard to make the time, it seems. I feel like I'm not, it's hard for me to even call myself a writer because I work with other writers that work so fast and there's so much more. I'm more passionate about the directing and producing and making it happen once it's ready.
Yeah.
It's really hard. Writing is not easy for me at all. I don't know if it's easy for anybody, but it looks a lot easier for other people.
Yeah, I think it's easier for some than others.
I can only write when I'm in the mood. Like whenever I pops out the mind, I have to get it on paper or it's gone. Like if I don't I can't schedule my writing time because I have to get my ideas. But if I have an idea, I have to write it down right there, or else I'll forget it. Like it's just not I have to be motivated, or something has to give me a muse to write that at that point in time, or I just can't. It's just not. It's like taking a test and you don't know the answers to the test. Just
yeah, you have to. That's part of my problem. It's like this catch-22 of I have this I feel like a sense of OCD of wanting to know exactly what it is before I write any of it down. But I feel like you have to start to write it down to work that out. Yeah. So it's like I'm holding myself back. I'm like, just start writing it, Joe. Just start doing it.
Yeah, exactly. Or at least an outline for it, or just getting a couple dialogue lines in. That helps you. But like I said, if it's not the time to write, it's not. I just can't do it. I can't.
I joined that masterclass thing they got where it's just all these directors and writers, and I mean they got a masterclass for everything. And I think it was $100 and some for the whole year, and you get as many. You can watch as many as you want. And I watched Spike Lee's, and he was talking about his writing process, and he writes everything on index cards, everything.
Classic, yep.
And then he'll take all the index cards, he'll just write scenes on index cards, and then he'll put them in order when he's finished. He'll put them all in order of where they're supposed to go. So he could write. He could write a scene. That he could write scene 22 before he writes scene 7. You know what I mean? And it really kind of struck me because I'm a guy that's I'll sit in front of the computer and start at page 1 and go straight and
tell the story
linear in order. And just listening to him and his process, I was just kind of wow, that's actually.
He probably just walks around with those cards in his pocket. Like I said, if it's something like me, if I think of something, I have to write it down. And I think he's that sounds like he's the same way. Yeah. Oh. So you can,
and I feel like I'm the same way. I try to wait and do it linearly, write it in order, but then I have if you have scenes super clear in your head, you might as well get them out, even if they're later in the film. I've done that in a way digitally where I just started different files for scenes, but I have started that note card thing because I like the idea of also, I like physical, I like to write stuff down with my hands still, not everything being on a computer. And something about being able to rearrange the postcards and see all of it at once and the structure of the film, I think that's helpful. But what's weird is I've been trying to do that with a new idea, but I'm still writing the note cards in fucking order. I need to just write whatever the hell I want and then order them later.
Yeah. Well, sometimes people like the backwards stories. People like the backwards stories. You tell a story backwards or inside out, and people like that.
But it's like if you know the end of your movie, then you're good. You just have to get there. Right, then you're sold. Once I figured out the end of the Stylist, I was like, this is it. And I was so ready to have it written.
Yeah.
It's again knowing your ending for sure, or you're just aimlessly writing.
I think the opening scene to grab the audience and the end scene to leave them with something when they leave the theater. I think those are the two most important scenes to me.
Yeah.
The opening and the ending. So once you got those down, it should be.
And then they say that the middle can be the hardest because of that, because you will know those so well that it's
you're writing to get to
and we
the
see
end.
that in films.
Yeah,
I do that a lot. I'll write to get to the end instead of writing, to have substance to the end. It's really hard.
Yeah, I don't know if I can write linear because, like I said, I'll think of scenes and then I just figure out how to piece those scenes together to tell a story. But editing, I have to do it linear.
Yeah,
linear. Some people do it like
No
in
way.
pieces. I don't know how they do that.
Me either. I gotta start with scene 1 and
Yeah, I have to like build the storyboard. Like I have to build the storyboard and editing. Editing process is so tedious and so like has to be. That process is. I hate editing. Like I have to hire an editor. Like it's if I have
used
bigger
to not
projects.
like it, but I like it now. I kind of like it.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't do it. I can't do it.
So what are your what made you turn the short into the feature?
It was something I always wanted to do with the concept. Even before we made the short, I thought of it as a full-length film, but I had only made one short film at the time. In fact, I might not have even finished my first one at the time because I have like this first note about it, and the date on it really confuses me because it's like from 2013. But I just knew I needed more experience, and it seemed like a concept that would work in both forms, but not feel like a stretch, even though that critique exists for some people. But the idea was I always wanted to tell the end. From my perspective, it's kind of like the downfall of this character's serial killing career, so to speak. And I wanted it always to be the end of her journey. And so the short was just kind of like a little peek at what she does, her thing. And then I always knew the feature we'd be able to really dive into it and be like a character piece more than anything. Right. You can't get to know a character that well, in 10, 12 minutes.
Right. Tell us what the movie's about. We haven't even really talked about it.
Yeah.
Well, it's about a hairstylist who scalps people and wears their hair as a way to escape her inner torment that she experiences in a very simple way. But it's for me, like a deeper thing, kind of just about anxieties that we all feel, told through a very extreme metaphor. But it's a character piece that's kind of, more meant to bring you along the story with our crazy person and sympathize with her in a way that kind of disturbs you. And yeah, I have a thing for like anti-hero stories and this, films that are told from the bad person's perspective, and to understand that people are layered and that we're not just the one bad thing we've done, even though she's done more than one bad thing. But I'm just really interested in super complicated people.
And it's a weird dynamic when you tell the story that way. I made a movie back in 2013, I think, called Rough Cut, and it was about a guy who he's a filmmaker and he gets his funding pulled from the investors, so he decides to go around and like really kill people and film it to make a movie. And the movie was about him, like the filmmaker, and you find yourself rooting for him even though he's doing all these horrible things to people, torturing them and just all this craziness, but you're rooting for that person. And watching The Stylist, I was like rooting for her even though she's like killing people. Like it's a weird dynamic when the person and everybody else in the movie is just kind of a nameless character. You don't really get to know that person.
Yeah.
And when they get killed, you like really don't care. It's really strange watching a movie like that. And
yeah. I don't know.
But her lead actress was awesome. Like she's so good.
Well, that's when you know you have a good actress or a good actor, when they can have you root for them at certain points, like for killing people. Like that's that's like, yeah, cut his head. What? Yeah, what? Like it's as you said, it's a weird dynamic because you're not supposed to root for these people, but if an actor is able to sell that person and make it more personable and personify the whole act of it, it's they sold you on their act of violence, pretty much.
Because in the movie, she's like a nice person. Like she's kind of meek and real nice and pleasant, but then she's obviously got inner demons that are coming out when she has someone in her chair.
Yeah.
And, with the kind of the victims, I don't think this is spoilery. The first one is kind of, I feel for me, the only one we kind of make you maybe she's not the greatest person,
Right.
but throughout the film, the other people, I kind of wanted to create a scenario where you do feel so much for her, Claire, the stylist, but we're not really trying to defend what she does necessarily, or be like, yeah, go kill people. But the idea that even I'm really interested in like real people who have done horrible things, and the idea that we as society, it's so easy for someone just to chalk them up to calling them a monster and throw them in a cage, or like put them to death. And I think that is scary and morbid that we think that about bad people. So it's like I'm interested in that thinking and messing with it and making us challenge that idea. Like someone who's done something horrible, well, what did they go through to get them to that point? And,
Absolutely.
not that it justifies what they did, but that it's much more complicated than the way we present those kind of people, like in the media, and just people pick it to like put them to death and stuff. I'm like, that's still a human being behind that
Sure.
probably went through some horrific trauma through their whole life to get to this, to be able to do something that insane.
And that's a huge problem in the country right now. There's a case in Tampa that a man who was mentally ill, and he tried to get help from the state, and they ended up Baker acting him, and he was out in like a week. And he wasn't cured or anything, and he ended up killing somebody. And now he just got he just went on trial, and was the verdict was he was insane. He got an insanity plea, and now they're putting him in an institution to get help. I'm like, well, why didn't they put him in an institution when he was asking for it? You know what I mean, like the guy knew he had problems and needed help, and the state just kind of was like, yeah, whatever, and just tossed him aside.
Well,
and now 3 people, 2 kids lost their dad because.
Well, mental health is a very serious issue in our country right now. We feel that we don't really treat it really, like we are reactive to it. Like if anything happens, we're reactive to it. We're not preventative. That's just the way society is here, because that's just we just need more emphasis on mental health, and I think we can avoid a whole lot if we prioritize mental health. If that was number one, a lot of this. But then again, would we be making movies like this if mental health was priority? Like I know like Sweden, they prioritize mental health. They try to make sure that all their citizens are taken care of in every way possible. But here, not so much. Like I said, we're very reactive to our society. Like look at global warming. We're reactive to it. We're reacting to it. Like we're trying to. After the fact, we're trying to fix everything. So it's mental health is a very serious issue, and that we should take seriously and prioritize it to avoid very big problems that do occur. Right. Look at the shootings that happen.
I agree with that. I think that it's something to do with the shame that's around it, and not even just mental health as a whole, but specific things within mental health that. It's like we can never get to addressing the issues because it's so we can't even get close enough to it, and like you say, so we just react to it instead of figuring out how to get ahead of it.
Well, it's perceived as a weakness in people. Like, oh, you're seeking help. Oh, there's something there. They avoid you, and they think that you're less of a person because you're seeing somebody, or seeing a psychiatrist, or they think you're less of a person because of it. And that's we got to get out of that stigma, where it's not a negative thing. Oh, this person's trying to better themselves. He's trying to fix himself. He's trying to improve themselves. Like they need to, so they chose to see somebody to make it a better situation for them and the people around them. And I think that's what we need to promote more, is the mental health and, getting the word out. And, anyone having problems, we need to get it worked out and checked out.
So back to the film, is Arrow the only, are you going to have that on other platforms, or? Like you trying to get on other streaming sites? Or?
That's all to be determined. We're hoping to get it on some more streaming channels probably next year. It can be rented, on Amazon and Apple TV and all those places that things are rentable or buyable digitally. But right now, as far as streaming channel, just Arrows. And there's lots of new Arrow things coming this fall, though, so you guys should all sign up. That's all I can hint at. But the film will be coming out. It's exciting. It'll still be coming out in lots of other countries over the next year or so. We've got lots of deals set up, and I've got to see lots of cool different covers of the movie, and it's wild and exciting.
Yeah,
and I can't wait to share all of that.
I've seen some of the covers you posted. It's really cool. It's I love artwork for movies. I think that's a huge selling point, and I don't know, the artwork was really neat.
Yeah, we got to work with for the Arrow cover. The limited Blu-ray has a piece by Sarah Deck, who's done just so much cool stuff for everyone from Mondo to Disney, and she really understood the film in just such a cool way. I always imagined that for sure the poster would have Claire or the stylist on it, and she interpreted it in this way that was this deeper level of being Claire.
Yeah, it's just
and I would have just never thought of, because she's it's just like a mannequin, a faceless mannequin head.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But wearing Claire's hair as a scalp versus the opposite, Claire wearing someone else's. And I was that's such a cool idea and adds to the loneliness of the character. It's so cool when another artist understands what this feels and means to me on such a personal level. Is freaking exciting. And Arrow, in conjunction with Burning Witches Records, just put out our score on vinyl, actually.
Oh, wow.
And used Sarah's art on that, and she did a new piece for the back of it. And that's just unreal. I can't believe it. I just got a copy of it in the mail, actually.
So this is the first time that you've had your name plastered all over the internet, right? Are you you get a rush of it?
It's very exciting. The score thing is unreal. Also for our composer, I've been working with him. His name's Nick Ehlert for 6 years on every short film, and we got your score on a freaking record. I'm looking at it across the room. That's why I'm dorking out. But I'm I can't believe it. It's so freaking cool.
So it must make you feel good to see your name. Your movie popping up on all these top 10 because I'm a big top 10 list person. I'll look at them all the time just to have oh, I haven't seen that yet. Something to watch. And
yeah.
Every one I see, there it is. The Stylist, bam, bam, bam. They're on all of them. It's crazy.
It's exciting as hell. But then I do joke that it's nerve-wracking in the middle of the year. I'm where will we end up at the end of the year? Let's keep going.
Well, as long as you want to, work it out. Pretty much, if you nonstop market and promote it, it's never ending. You could do it every year. Oh, you can have it going for many years. It could be an instant classic. Instant classics.
It's a cool movie.
Yeah, I definitely need to check it out because I'm hearing a lot of good things. I go on a lot of recommendations when I watch new movies.
He never listens to me though when I recommend.
No, because his things are very self-explanatory.
Our tastes are a little different.
Our tastes are very different.
Actually, you probably like the Stylist because it's kind of art. He likes artsy stuff, and it's got that little artsiness to it. And I think
I like the deeper cuts. I like the deeper cuts of movies where there's more depth to characters and more artsy shots and more artsy storyline and more subliminal ideas and ideals put into a character in movies. I think those really strike a nerve with me because it just, I guess I could connect with it a little bit more because I always feel like I have 1,000 things going on at once and it just drives me insane. So I think I like to see other people who have that same thing going on and want to add that into their story. Oh, there's subliminal things, but there's this person does this for that reason and that for that reason. It's very, now Chris just
I'm
Mike,
a simple man.
Yeah, he's I see killer, I stab person. Cool. Yes. That's Chris for you.
Every month we do a segment where we do a top 10 or we do 10 movies that you
probably never heard of,
10
or
good movies
seen.
that you've never heard of, and so he'll pick 5, I'll pick 5, and then we watch each other's recommendations, and half the time I'm just why does he like this?
I feel maybe you'll both like the Stylist though, because it does have the killer thing, but it's also a very slow-paced character piece. It's not a slasher. That's in fact probably a critique of it, because some of the promotions make it look like it's just a straight up maniac slasher when really
it's definitely not that.
To me, we approached it like a drama, and that just happens to have a couple kills in it.
Is there gore in it?
Oh yeah.
Good gore.
Yeah, when we get to the gore, I'm all about gore.
Oh,
so
there
like,
you go. There you go.
So we satisfy the horror fans with the gore, but like really, I love really sad, dramatic films. So that's what I was trying to do with this movie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So yeah, for the record, I've seen it. I got the Arrow subscription and watched it, and Tony has not seen it yet.
Not yet. But
yeah.
soon. I don't have an abundance of free time like Chris does. You know,
I have a lot of
I work like 90 hours a week, so it feels like I'm never ending. So,
awful.
Yes, I mean I know it does suck, but I want to retire by the time I'm your age.
Yeah,
that's all. I want to retire, but I will definitely watch it. That's definitely on my list. My list is not that big now. I've actually caught up on a good amount of movies. That's pretty good.
Do you guys see the new Candyman yet?
Yeah,
that's actually next on my list.
Did you see it yet?
Oh man, you got to see it. Yeah, I saw it. I really liked it.
Yeah, it was really good.
I don't think I want to go see it again.
Yeah, I'll probably end up watching it again. I didn't, when I heard it was coming out, I didn't know it was a sequel. I think that kind of threw a lot of people because everything's a reboot nowadays, and that they actually made it into a sequel was really cool. And
yeah, I really liked that because it didn't feel like a sequel in the cheesy meaning of the word. It was like it's a new legend added to the one that already existed, and it's within. And I love that about it. I was like, that makes sense, like because it would evolve if it was real time and that much time had passed since the last story. There'd be more legend added to it, and I really like that.
Yeah. So it's like the new Halloween's. So it's like new Halloween's where it's a continuation of the original story.
Yeah, kinda. I mean, this was more like it was just. You know how Spiral was a Saw story? This was like a Candyman story.
Okay.
And it referred to, the first movie, the legend of it and everything. Yeah. And I thought they did a great job with it.
I thought, and it was so beautifully made, like the design of the film. I really loved it. I think I like it more and more. Like the more time that's passed since I watched it.
Yeah, I felt the same way. Like when I left the theater, I was just kind of like. It was good. I wasn't like sure about it, but then the more I've been thinking about it, I'm like, that was actually really good. And I wish. Did you watch the original before you went and saw it?
That's one of my favorite horror films of all time.
I don't think I've seen the original.
I love Tony Todd.
I don't think I've seen it in like 20 years. So I wish I had watched it before I went and saw the new one.
I probably watch it every year at least once. I mean, that's one of the best horror.
Yeah,
it is so good, and I will say the original is like way scarier because, man, there's scenes within the original that are still scary as shit, no matter how many times I've seen it.
Well, also think about the time when that movie was actually made. The original, when the original was made, like what was the horror movies out at that time? Like original Candyman came out what 90, 89?
Yeah, probably about 89, I think.
Might have been in the early 90s more so, but yeah, I mean...
There was no horror movie.
It's so good.
Yeah, that was the time where horror kind of fell off.
Yeah. And like I said, having such a good movie like Candyman like that at that time, during that landscape of horror movies where it was dead air. It was dead air of horror movies, and that one just was just
And Candyman reminds me of like... the whole story and his backstory is a lot like a classic monster film. Like he's like a Frankenstein type story, or... It has that tragedy behind him. Like he's sympathetic in that way and terrifying. Like it's such a great story.
And it was a great time to come out too, because I mean it's very racially motivated.
Oh yeah.
And back in when it came out before, having a racially motivated movie back then wasn't as powerful as it is nowadays. Like now, everybody is all about it, and to bring that story into light now is like it's hitting. Like people are going crazy for it.
Yeah. And I think that's a huge difference also in the fact that it was the old one was made by an older white man that probably didn't put as much thought in. I don't want to be too presumptuous, but into like those themes, they're clearly in the film, and that's Candyman's backstory is all about connected to his race and racism.
Yeah.
but it's just so much more. The new one feels a lot more thoughtful in that way.
Right. And it's the African American woman directed it, so that's
Yeah.
probably why.
Yeah.
I think female directors are more detailed
Absolutely.
storytellers than males are.
Absolutely.
I don't know why I feel like that. I just feel like women as a whole are more detail oriented than men are. I think men are just bumbling idiots pretty much.
Well, because we're
You
so
said
scattered.
it.
We're so
No.
because we're so scatterbrained. We're like,
yeah, our head is all over the place.
yeah. Well, we're doing one scene and we're thinking about another scene. Like it's like we're trying to figure out, like, and then women just like are so detail oriented, where they're so focused on what's going on in front of them that it's so like, oh, like us, we're like, oh, where are we going with the next scene? Yeah,
the female brain is more, they're able.
There's so much more going on.
Focus on something and give it all the detail that it needs.
Yeah.
I know I'm like that, and my girlfriend.
Oh yeah, I'm like that too.
She'll be like, "You didn't see that
leaf
on the floor?" I'm like, "What leaf?" No.
Yeah.
And,
well, it's also that whole meme on Facebook right now. It's like, oh, men will be looking for the ketchup next to like something right here, and then we're on a video game. We're like, oh, 300 yards out, we see a guy, we see his eye. Like,
we're selective.
Like,
very selective.
we are very selective. But with movies, yeah, we're thinking about this scene going to the next scene. Like, we're already like we're just not like as focused on the scene. Right. We're like, oh, did he get his line? Okay, great.
Like the only thing about the movie about Candyman that it was a little slow in parts that kind of like irked me a little bit. I guess like the pacing of it was a little off. I mean,
he's wrong.
Off. But the gore was freaking amazing.
Yeah,
like they had some really cool gore scenes.
Well, like I said, Kristen needs more action to go on at certain times. He doesn't like the story build up. He doesn't like
stabby.
Yeah, he just wants to see
stab stuff.
Yeah. Like I said, he's very simple in that mindset, but that's okay. That's what he likes.
But overall, it was really good. I was really happy that it was that good because I've been excited about a lot of movies and they just fall flat.
Yeah, I don't know.
Is there Night House, dude? Did you see The Night House yet?
I haven't yet. I do want to see it.
Yeah, it was a really good movie.
Is there a movie?
It was scary, dude. Like there were some parts that I jumped, and
this is good to hear because I thought it was going to be kind of, especially if you say Candyman was slow. I thought that would be much slower than Candyman.
Oh, it was slower. I mean, it was slow. I don't really mind a slow burn as long as there's a payoff. So I was pleasantly.
Yeah, it's honestly unfair how we talk about films being slow as a critique because that's just to me a style of storytelling. Not every film should be like that. Like a Marvel film is just like cut through the film. But it's become this thing like it's slow, and it's like slow is a good thing if you ask me for most films.
I don't mind slow as long as it's keeping me engaged and getting to the the meat of the movie and there's a payoff.
Yeah.
The one movie that comes to mind, It Comes at Night. Oh my god! Like that movie was like
which one was that?
Which one was a crawl and no payoff at the end.
Yeah.
And
I think we've come up with a new word. Like stuff can be. It just like doesn't engage you. It's just like.
And it was just one of those movies where you're just like waiting for something to happen and it never happens.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my god! I left the theater. My girlfriend was like, I'm never coming to the movies ever again. And that was the last movie she saw at the theater. So.
Oh wow.
But I go with my son now. So.
Yeah, that's good. It's good family time.
Yeah, but I don't mind slow movies as long as there's a good payoff.
Good payoff.
Like Honeymoon.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that yet.
I mean,
I need to see it.
You need to watch our top 10 movies you haven't seen before.
Yeah, I think we have 4 episodes out.
4 or 5.
Yeah, 4. They're really good. They're really good. Yeah. Speaking of Honeymoon, I didn't really that whole payoff. I don't.
Movie was whack.
Wait, I have seen Honeymoon. I'm thinking of a totally different
couple that go to a cabin and the girl.
Yes.
Keep like sneaking.
I liked Honeymoon.
It was a cool movie.
You like the ending of that movie? I don't. That was with the whole.
We're allowed to. That's an old movie. Spoiler alert. It's like, isn't it like alien type shit happening at the end? Yeah, I liked it. Is that Lee Janek that directed that?
I don't remember.
I think it's female directed too. Yeah, I like that movie a lot. I think she directed the Fear Street series too.
Oh, did she?
Yeah.
Those were great.
Yeah, those were wonderful. Did you like the Fear Street?
I have only watched the first one.
Oh.
I liked it. I need to watch the other two. I don't know.
Oh, if you like the first one, you'll love the second one.
The first one was really, really good.
Yeah.
I'm especially looking forward to the satanic one.
The 1666?
You didn't like the witch
Yes.
one. I like the witch.
I didn't like the 1666 because I don't like period movies.
Yeah.
I don't like movies, set in previous periods. I just can't, because they're always about the same exact thing. It's just like,
I like the old witchy stuff.
yeah.
Me too.
The witch was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, The Witch is fucking incredible.
But if you like Friday the 13th and all that, you'll like the second one. You'll really like the second one.
Yeah, the second one's more Friday the 13th-y.
Yeah.
And then the third one's more the witchy. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Like they all have different themes and different
Yeah,
rhythms.
number one was like Scream.
Yep.
Yeah. And I love how they like it wasn't Scream obviously, but
yeah.
There were elements that you were just like, holy shit, Scream. You know what I mean? Like just
yeah.
the parts that they put in the mall at the beginning.
Yeah, I feel like the exact moments with that kill, like with the mask coming off and this
when he's running after and like they did such a great job with that series. I hope R.L. Stine makes more.
Yeah, well, I see. I don't know how those movies make money though. How I don't understand how they're that distribution on Netflix because it's not.
I don't know.
Netflix must have just like a gazillion dollars. I don't know.
I mean, think about it.
Because they pay for that all up front.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it, they have probably, God, how many subscribers must they have?
Yeah,
like almost every human in the world has a subscription.
Like if someone tells me they don't have Netflix, I'm like,
but at that point, how do they? If everyone's
monthly, you pay.
That's why they have to raise the price. Like you said, like once everyone has the subscription, they can't make more money, so they have to raise the prices. That's the only way.
Yeah.
Or they've already hit their max. Like
they're making money every month. Like these people are paying every single month.
Yeah.
So they're getting hundreds of millions of dollars a month just in subscription.
Yeah.
So they have the money to shell out $20 million for a series.
I guess that's right. It's just
I can't comprehend how much money they have.
Yeah, it's just mind-boggling.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. The original movies, the original series, the originals, like.
Yeah.
But they're doing it great.
We got a Indiegogo now for our sequel to one of our movies, and we can't even get like $5,000. It's just like it's like $5,000.
It's a tough industry. It's a tough industry.
It's awful.
It is.
Did you crowdfund it all, or did you have an investor put all the money up?
We did crowdfund. We crowdfunded for the Stylist short and the feature. Because forever we were trying to send it out, trying to get money the Hollywood way for the fucking movie, and that just got so frustrating. That's after a couple of years we were like, we're just going to make this movie. We're going to start with a Kickstarter, but that's just like a portion of our budget, and then the rest is investors, like just chunks at a time. We're like, we need another chunk. We're going to need this to finish this, and that's really how we pieced it all together. But we did do a big Kickstarter for it, which was a huge fucking job to add on top of the film.
Absolutely.
You got to non-stop promote it, like non-stop.
Yeah.
And it's discouraging. Like yesterday, my partner Sean, we promoted it literally from like 7 a.m. till like 6 p.m. yesterday, and we didn't get one donation. It's just like,
yeah.
It's so frustrating. And it seems like with the crowdfunding, like the first week you crank, and then like the middle 2 weeks you hardly get any money, and then like the last week
it's that last week. The first week and the last week, and the middle is horrifying because you're like, I don't know if we're gonna even get close.
Yeah, we're like talking. We're just like, I don't think we're gonna hit it. Like we're trying to get 10,000, and I don't think we're gonna hit it. And we got
to think positive.
Rose. We got Felissa Rose from Sleepaway Camp gonna be in it. And
you got to think positive, and it is all about the end.
Yeah. You just gotta keep doing shows like this and keep promoting it.
We do this every time we do a crowdfund. It's like the first week we're like, wow, we're doing really good, and then it just falls off a cliff the second week, and you're just like, oh my god, I don't think we're gonna make it.
Oh man!
And then you'll get like $2-3 grand the last 3 days, and you're just like,
yeah, because it's all about that like deadline and the pressure. You got to read about how this works psychologically. Everyone does it at the very end to see like, are they gonna make it? We've got to help them. They're like, it's almost over.
Oh man, like I said, it's tough. It's tough.
Yeah.
Oh man. So, did you want to shout out the Stylist a little bit more before we go?
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yes, please go watch the movie. You can check it out on VOD or streaming on Arrow's platform, which is awesome because it's full of all kinds of crap. I feel like it's like $5 a month, or do they still have a whole month that's for free? And they have got new exciting things coming this fall I can't tell you guys about.
Oh no.
And you should also get our score on vinyl, which you can also order from Mondo or Burning Witches Records.
Fantastic.
Very cool.
Thank you for joining us this morning, Joe Gevargizian.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for coming on, Jill. Appreciate you.
Thank you so much for joining. Have a wonderful
Thank
day.
you.
Thank you for joining Killer Collab Podcast. As always, my name is Tony Depp from Florida, Tony D, and Chris Lato from Reaper Film.